What's going on YouTube? I want to welcome you guys to another episode of Charge and Ready, where we do our e-bike rides and our e-scooter rides across different parts of Arizona. But today's episode, I want to give you a little bit more insight on the Engwe Y600. Basically, I know in my previous video, we did an initial, like a quick review of the Engwe Y600, but I actually want to just give you my initial thoughts. I just want to make sure you guys have an idea of what this Engwe Y600 is capable of. So again, this was a scooter that I bought from Amazon, actually from Walmart.com, sorry guys, from Walmart.com for a price of $521.99, I believe it was. The initial price for it was $549.99, but then you get a 5% discount, and so it kind of brings it down to like $521.99 if I'm correct. And then with included shipping and taxes and stuff like that, I ended up paying like $535, something like that. Either way, you get a good quality budget scooter for the price. So I just pretty much just want to talk about how it's been for the past few weeks. Overall, I can just say I've enjoyed riding it with my wife. She ended up getting one herself, and I do like the speed. I think it goes up to 28 miles an hour when you unlock it. And then also I do like the peak watt motor, which is 830 watts of power that it produces from the scooter itself. Initially, it produces up to 600 watts of power, but then if you're trying to get that acceleration or that zip, it gives you 800 peak watts of power. Of course, this scooter does have a 48 volts battery with 18.2 amp hours. I know some people prefer like a 52 watt battery, but for the price that you're paying for this thing, 48 volts is pretty good. I mean, for a nice, I'll call it an upgraded commuter scooter. So this, you can actually ride on like sidewalks. You can ride on streets with the bike lanes and stuff like that. And for off-roading, you can do a little bit of off-roading with a little bit of like sand and gravel and a bit of grass, depending on where you're located. But I don't recommend that you ride this out in the rain because with many scooters, it does get slippery out there. I definitely wouldn't recommend that overall. But just keep in mind that you're paying like $500 for a decent price scooter. There are other scooters out there that are cheaper, and you may get less range, you may get a decent amount of miles per hour, but the distance for the price that you're paying for this, you're getting a good distance. So on Walmart, you'll see the description indicating 43.5 miles per hour. Basically, that just depends on the rider weight, the terrain, the height, everything. Everything plays a factor on the distance that you ride on the scooter. So if you're like maybe 155 pounds or smaller, and you have it on like the lowest setting, which I believe is 3 miles per hour, then you can get that 43.5 miles per hour range. It's not guaranteed. I'll say for me, I'm 6 feet and I'm 225 pounds. And I believe for myself, if I'm going at maybe the level 2 range, level 2 mode, which is about 12 to 18 miles an hour, I feel like I can get like 32, 34 miles. And that's actually pretty good for my height and my weight. So for the price that I'm paying for this, it's actually decent quality. We can talk about the specifications of the scooter. When you initially unbox it, when you actually get the scooter and you actually purchase a scooter, it actually comes with this the seat post and the like for the seat and suspension or whatever. You get this nice size seat. But for me, I actually removed it and replaced it with the footrest that's also provided in the package. And because for me, I'm not one to actually sit on the scooter, but it's nice to have for convenience to have the seat part of it added onto your scooter if you're just one of those casual riders. But for me, I initially bought the scooter so I can actually stand on it. And they do claim that this is a 9-inch deck, so you do get the decent width of 9 inches. Again, I wear like a size 12 shoe, so I can't have my feet side by side. So it's got to be, my foot will have to stand here, and then my other foot will be on the footrest. So just standing on the scooter and with the stance and all that stuff, I'll have to switch feet because again, I wear a size 12 shoe, and that I believe this is 24 inches in length, if I'm not wrong. So definitely have to switch feet. I can't have my feet together because the deck is just not wide enough for that. If I wanted something that wide, I'll have to, fork up a little bit more cash to get like a bigger, like one of those more expensive dual wide motor scooters. So, and that's fine by me, but for the price you're paying, it's definitely worth it. And here you can see like the rear fender with the back brake lights here, and this rear wheel also contains a 10-inch tire with, I believe they say it's like 10 by 4 inch, as far as like 10 by 4 inch, 10-inch then by 4 width fat tires. So it doesn't look like 4 inches, but I'm just gonna go by what they say. Obviously, it's good enough. You can see that the treads have like an off-road style tread to it. So again, like I mentioned, you get that light off-roading. And again, this motor is 600 watts and it goes up to 830 peak watts. So for somebody of my size and my weight, again, like I said, I'm 6 feet, 225 pounds. Like when I go on it, it definitely gives me that zip. And so back here, you have your rear suspension. It has a little bit of rust on here. So that's something that, doesn't really bother me, but I have to get that little rust off. Again, I brought this brand new, so I'm just going to assume that it's been sitting in the Engwe factory for a little bit before I purchased it, but it's not so much of a deal breaker for me. Again, I can just wipe that rust off and make it look good. I was just being lazy, so forgive me for not doing that. So, and again, this has the rear suspension, so it does provide decent firm suspension. Like, so if I'm hitting those bumps or whatever, it feels like it's nothing when I'm riding over it. And I know for myself personally, when I rode the scooter. And so here you have your rear lights here, like these light up here, this lighting system. So I believe when I turn this on, I can show you later in the video. Like when you have return signals on, the lights kind of turn on. And I don't know if they actually stay on at night overall. So that we can do in a later video, or like later on in the video, of course. And then, of course, you have your front suspension, which I'm a fan of because, again, when you go over those bumps, it definitely goes really well. So, again, it's a smooth ride. You're riding on this and you're going over those bumps. The suspension is very quiet. And I guess they've done comparisons to like the previous model. The suspension was very noisy and it had like a rattling sound. So, at least with my experience, I can say that I haven't experienced those type of noises at all. These front headlights, which are pretty bright, like again, I'll do a demonstration of how bright the lights are in the video. And of course you have this long stem here, which I guess that's, for some people, it could be a good or bad thing. So for me, so if I just do like a side angle here, you can kind of see like it kind of angles towards you, like towards the deck a little bit. So like for somebody who's standing, it may not be that much of a comfortable balance because some people prefer the stem to be straight up. Whereas with the Engwe scooter, it kind of angles. It has like a slight slope angle, like it's coming towards you. So it just depends on how you hold the handlebars when you're riding, standing up. For me, when I prefer standing up, I do like to have the stem all the way. Right now, it's sitting all the way down at the bottom, like it's low, so you can actually adjust the stem to your height. So I'm trying to do this with one hand here while I'm holding this camera for you guys. So let me do that. So you have to just unlock it, and then you can extend it as high as you want. So from the bottom to, from the bottom to the top, I guess the full height is about maybe like 4 feet or something like that, I believe. So again, I'm 6 feet, and usually I have it at the highest setting here. And I end up adding like an adjustable mirror, like a rear view mirror, which I'm going to actually replace with a different one. Right now, this is just my rear view mirror. It's not the best because I really can't view like the things behind me when I'm standing up. We go over here to our right handle or our left handlebar here, and it has the rear disc brakes, or the rear brakes for your disc brakes at the bottom. And then you have your headlight, which I guess, like I said, I'll turn on and off. Like in the videos, you can kind of see how bright it is. You have your left and right turn signals. And then you have your horn. And the horn is fairly loud. So if you have anybody that's in front of you or whatever, they will definitely hear you for sure. And then over here to your right, you have the ignition for the key, to where you put the key in. It does come with a set of 2 keys. And I was smart enough to just kind of separate my keys. So This is my keychain. So this is my electric XP key, which is kind of bent, still works though. And this is the Engwe Y600 key for my scooter. So I can just turn it on for you real quick so y'all can kind of get an idea of what it looks like. So as I'm turning it on. So right now, the reader, this is the volt reader here. So right now it's saying 49 volts. And then here's my handle, of course the right handle, and then it has the handle brakes here. And then of course you have the LCD display monitor thing, so I can just power it on for you guys real quick. Oh, hold on. There it is. Had to hold it. And it's beeping because if you leave it on, if you hear that weird noise, that's because I have the right signal on. So this is the right turn signal. And then if I do a left turn signal here, it makes that beeping noise. So it indicates that, you know, that you're making a left, of course. And then if I squeeze on the brakes here, that brake light comes on. And then if I turn the headlights on, let me just turn this turn signal off for you guys. It's a little annoying, I know, if you have it on too long. And you can see how bright this thing is. Wow, that is really gonna be good at night. So I don't wanna put the camera on it directly, but you can just see how bright that light is. It is super bright. The weird thing is I ended up buying like another set of lights because I didn't think this thing was gonna be bright enough. I haven't done any night riding in this yet, but I believe that I'll be able to see things just fine with just this light alone. But I ended up buying like a 2600 lumen light that is even brighter than this, so I can see what's in front of me at night. So eventually I'll be doing some night rides with this scooter. But again, that's just to show you guys how bright this headlight is. So that's pretty cool. I didn't even know that. So, and let me turn it off. It's turned off. And then I'm gonna give you a sound of what this horn, the horn sounds like. That's pretty loud. That's pretty loud. So anybody who's in front of you, they can definitely hear that for sure. And so again, we're going to go back to the LCD display, and I have it set to miles. But when you initially get this, when you unbox it, it's set to kilometers. So in order to do that, you have to just press the power and the mode button. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. And it takes you to P2. So this is program 2. And so when you do that, you just press this power button, I believe. Oops, let's go to program. So it's program 3. So let me get to program 2. That's program 6. You know, to be honest, I don't even know what these programs do. I thought completely, okay. So there is no, okay. So you press the mode button, and then this is where you switch your kilometers to miles. So you either switch to 0, which is kilometers, so you keep it at kilometers, or you can just do it to miles. So that's just a quick short tutorial. And then all you do is just click that power button. Oops. So you have to actually hold it. And there it is. So basically, after you're holding that power button, then basically it just goes back to your settings. And so right now I'm showing at 42 miles because that's how much I've ridden right now. And by default, when you power this thing on, it starts off at gear 3. But let me just show you what the settings look like. So I don't know if I can actually lift this up as I'm pressing the gears here. So just give me 1 second. I'm going to put a brick or a block underneath this thing so you can kind of get an idea of how this looks when I set up the gears. Okay, so when you put it on, so I have it unlocked, and there's definitely a way to unlock it. So let me do a initial test for you guys real quick. So I'm gonna power this off. I'm gonna re-lock it. So you gotta take the key out. You gotta put the key back in. You hold on to the brake. Let me see if I can do this with, okay, yep. So you hold on to the brake like so. So I'm gonna hold on to the brake here. You turn the key on. Still holding on to the brake here. You power this on. Okay. And as you're holding that, you just press this gear throttle 3 times. So I'm holding like this. 1, 2, 3, release. So I pretty much put it back to factory settings. I initially had it unlocked. So let's see what mode 1 gives us. So mode 1 is, there's the original factory setting, so you get 3 miles an hour in mode 1, okay? And then mode 2, you get up to 9 miles an hour. 9 miles an hour is decent. It's a decent fare. I'll call it the average speed, okay? So that's for the casual rider or whatever. 3 is just, I'll call it 3 miles an hour like walk mode. So, and I guess if you're really trying to just do like a slow walk type of ride or whatever, you just want to really absorb the scenic views and all that stuff, then I guess gear 1 is for you. And then gear 3 in factory settings, you're going at the highest setting, which is 15 miles an hour. And that's initially what you would get when you take it right out the box. So now I'm going to show you guys how to do, to unlock it at the higher settings, okay? So basically you just power this off again, and you just pretty much have to, of course, you turn your key off. All right, hold the brake, like so. So I got to do that whole underarm pit type of thing. Let me hold this, okay? Turn the key on, you turn the power button on, and then I'm gonna switch hands, and then I'm gonna do that 1, 2, 3 again. 1, 2, 3, release. All right, let's hope we did it. Okay, mode 1. Here it is, now it's unlocked. So the maximum speed you can get is about 9 miles an hour in gear 1. And then in gear 2, you're getting up to 18 miles an hour. Again, this all depends on rider weight and height and weather conditions and all that stuff. And then mode 3, I guess because of the voltage reading, you can get up to 28 miles an hour. But I know I saw on somebody's video that they were getting up to like 30 miles an hour, which is what the program allows up to as far as the highest speed settings. So 27 miles an hour is actually pretty darn fast for this type of scooter, which is okay. That's totally fine. But for the price, for what you're getting for this, I'm not mad at it. I'm definitely not mad at it. So let me just go ahead and power this off and take my little key out. Again, it comes with 2 sets of keys. I actually have 1 key on my set of car keys, and then 1 key, and this is like my going outside key. So it's pretty cool. And then I have my e-bike key. So I had two keys for my e-bike key or whatever. So that way, if I'm actually just going out without actually driving, then if I'm riding around my neighborhood or whatever, then I just take these type of keys here. But overall, I love the scooter. Like I said, I mean, there's been complaints about the way it's set up. I recently watched a video. There was a gentleman that had, talked about how much he didn't like the Engwe Y600. I mean, that he had some strong opinions about it. He mentioned that he was doing a hill test, and he was talking about how badly the disc brakes were not functioning properly for him when he was riding downhill. And I guess he's used to the regenerative braking on one of his other scooters. And so, I mean, that's a fair, assessment as far as like, like what works for him and what doesn't work for him. And for me, at least, I mean, I haven't really done a hill test. I've been riding on flat surfaces throughout, but eventually I'll do a hill test video to kind of see what he's talking about, because I don't want to kind of judge him too quickly. But at least so far for me, I believe that these disc brakes work fairly well for me. I'm not, it doesn't bother me too much. Like when you press on the brakes, they're not going to be regenerative brakes or whatever. You have to actually just kind of go here and just, you squeeze both of them, and you kind of you do like a slow squeeze as you're riding. And so when you're doing that, you will slow down. But I guess when he was squeezing the brakes, he said that it would jerk. It would just kind of like jerk, and then it would kind of give out. But for me, I mean, it hasn't done that for me quite yet. So I feel like it's okay for me overall. And I haven't had any issues with the braking so far. And he also did mention that, when he had the seat attached to the scooter, that the seat does wobble. I'll kind of give him that in a sense, but preferably I don't ride sitting down on the scooter. Like I said before, I like I bought the scooter just to have a stand up on the scooter because I have an e-bike for that to sit down. So I wanted to do something to where I could just ride standing up, and that was my preference. So I replaced again the seat, seat with the footrest. And for me, I don't mind the footrest. And I guess there was another complaint that he had was that the deck was too small. I do have to agree that the deck is kind of small, but for what I pay for this thing, it doesn't really take away from my riding experience because I'm used to like standing up and, like I have like an electric skateboard that I ride on. I haven't ridden on in quite a while, but the skateboard was actually no, the deck is actually bigger than the skateboard deck is actually bigger than this deck here, which is fine. But again, for the price that I'm paying for this, I mean, the deck doesn't have to be that big. Again, if I want something like long or whatever, I was looking for. What really sold me on this Y600 was the range and the miles per hour that I could potentially get on this scooter from my size and my height and my weight. And it didn't really bother me too much to actually purchase this. I mean, I knew it was going to have its ups and downs, but for me, I mean, I like the design about it. I think he also complained about the design of the scooter, and I didn't think it was so much of a bad thing. The design is great. That's what really sold me on it too. I mean, I've seen other scooters that looked worse than this, and you're paying like $1,000 for it. And it's like, okay, what are you doing? I didn't want to. I thought this was nice for the price, and I've been waiting for a scooter like this for a long time. But and for me, and I think, like I said, the initial complaint for him was the stem of the scooter, and like how I guess he said it's wobbly like when you're riding. But for me, I guess I don't know if it was loosened or if it was tightened properly or whatever it could have been. But if you tighten it a certain way, for me, it stays in place. But I guess when you're riding in real time, you can, okay, oh, that's me turning the wheel. I was going to say, oh, I feel the wobbliness, but I'm just turning the wheel. So it's not really doing so much for me right there. So overall, I can say that, it does angle towards me a little bit, but for me, I like stability. I can hold my stability fairly well when I'm riding the scooter, so it doesn't bother me too much. So again, I mean, it's everybody has their own opinion. For me, I personally like the scooter. I think it's pretty good. I'm not mad at the way that the scooter is made and set up because again, you're paying like practically $550 for for the range and the speed of the scooter. And you can't find a lot of good quality scooters that has uh, a decent peak watt motor, which is 830 peak watts, and then you have something that has 10-inch tires and it has quiet suspension. And and for me, the build quality is nice. I mean, I like the build quality overall. So that's just me. I mean, and for me, the range that I mean, the prices you get for the range and all that stuff, I'm impressed with it. And I think oh, I'm sorry. There was another thing that was complaint. The finger throttle. The finger throttle. I don't mind the finger throttle. Like I like the finger throttle. He said that when he when he tries to squeeze in the throttle, it provides pull output. Because if you're trying to get a certain speed, it's like even when he tried to slowly squeeze on it, it will just provide the full speed instead of the actual speed he was trying to get. Yes, the finger throttle is sensitive, but for me personally, if I'm trying to ride at a certain speed, okay, you know what? Let me do a quick demonstration here. Let me do a quick demonstration. So I'm gonna put my key in here and turn this thing on if it wants to. Okay, so I got my volts. I'm gonna turn this on. And again, I like mine unlocked. So this thing goes at a max speed of 9 miles an hour. So I think his complaint was when he tried to squeeze the throttle, I'm lightly squeezing it. The wheels are on, the wheels are turning. I don't know if you can hear it, but the wheels are turning. So if I want to increase my speed, see, this is me increasing my speed. I'm slowly just putting my finger on the throttle. So mine is slowly progressing to that speed that I wanted at. But in real time, if I want to go like 5 miles an hour, I can slowly squeeze and I can increase my speed. So it's just me slowly increasing my speed. So I guess for him, instead of it going to like 3 or 4 miles an hour, whatever it may be, this is me. I'm slowly increasing my speed. I'm slowly putting my finger down to squeeze the trigger. And so it's slowly increasing my speed. But I guess for him, when he's squeezing it, it's like, oh, this is going straight at 9 miles an hour. You know, like I said, I don't know. I mean, sometimes you may get those manufacturer defaults. Oh, Angwe, I hope you're listening. But personally, I like the scooter. So, you know, and he said that he tightened all the screws on the scooter and all that stuff. But personally, for me, I mean, I don't see anything wrong with it. You know, again, I do agree with the seat probably being wobbly, but for me, I like to stand on the scooter. And the stem is angled. So it has like a slight angle towards you type of feel. But it really, like I said, and when it angles toward you, like he mentioned, he said that it kind of takes away your deck space a little bit, because it's kind of like you're kind of like moved back a little bit because you're kind of stabilizing your body. So the resolution to that is just kind of like adjusting the stem to a certain height to where it doesn't feel like it's kind of pulled towards you. So you can lower the stem a little bit to make it feel like it's more pulled away from you. So that's the trick to it, if that makes any sense. So what I'm trying to say is, when you do that, you just lower the stem just a little bit. Because if you put the full extent of the stem, then you're gonna get that. Dang, I have this like on really. Oh, there it is. Ooh, okay. So you just have it on. You just have it at a certain height to where it doesn't feel like it's all the way up and it's like at an angle towards you. So you have a little bit of give to where you can balance and stabilize. But if you're a tall person, it really, for me, I'm like I said, I'm 6 feet tall. This doesn't bother me too much at all. Like I feel like this, it helps me stabilize even more. And even when I have it at, almost at as low as that, I can almost kind of lean. It gives me like a slight lean forward. I mean, and I still had that level of comfort, because I know when the first time I was riding it, I didn't have the stem all the way up, but I had my arms kind of straight down to where I was still kind of stabilizing on the scooter. But, and again, I'm not a professional reviewer. This is just my honest review as a customer. And I didn't receive this as a gift from Engwe. I actually spent my own money to buy this scooter. The scooter is actually a good quality scooter. And again, I will do some more video tests and all that stuff. So if you have any questions, concerns, just leave us a comment below. And please be sure to look out for future videos. Again, I will do a hill test to kind of see what the guy was talking about. And I will eventually do a range test, and we're going to do some more rides, my wife and I, because she also has an Engwe electric scooter. And we'll do some riding tests to kind of get a feel for it. And we may have an updated opinion about the Engwe Y600. But for right now, I believe, this is my personal opinion only, that this is actually a good purchase for you guys. If you're looking to buy something that's under $600 and gets you decent speed and range, but not too speedy, not too zippy, I would recommend the Engwe Y600. Like I said, it's not by any means perfect, and I would say before you actually make a purchase like this, just go ahead and watch those other videos, including the guy's video, and just you get your own opinion of what you like and dislike about it. But if you have any other questions about what it does and what it doesn't do, be sure to leave a comment below. And for those that haven't subscribed to our channel, please be sure to subscribe to the Charge and Ready channel. We're going to have future videos out there, and we're going to try to make the best content as we possibly can with these scooters. And hopefully we can get more scooters in future reviews as well, too. So hopefully this gave you a little bit of insight of the Y600, and I will see you guys on the next video. Peace out.